Just a heads up, the product that I'm going to be reviewing is not sponsored in any way. It is my own personal recommendation. There probably are cheaper and better monitors out there, but this is the most bang for the buck one that I find that fits my general purpose. You can also go onto the website in the link below and get the same monitor which I'm reviewing in this video. Just a little disclaimer, enjoy the review. The new PS5 and Xbox Series X both support 120Hz, but how do you get that kind of frame rate on the cheap? Introducing the HP22X, the most affordable, smallest 1080p 120Hz display. The unboxing experience is pretty bare bones, but what do you expect for such a cheap gaming monitor, which is really good for its price? Let's have a look and see what you get inside the box. Now obviously I've already set my monitor up, but underneath this foam would be the monitor. You have a quick start guide as a sheet of paper. I apologise, it's all screwed up. As well as that, you have a higher speed HDMI cable. It's a higher speed one that does support the latest HDMI spec. As well as that, you also have a piece of cardboard which contains all the warranty information. This monitor does come with a 2-year warranty. You can see it really blends in with my setup and is easy to connect up as it requires one HDMI cable. However, you can connect it with VGA. Turning the lights off and looking at the monitors side by side, it's hard to tell that this is actually a really good high quality gaming monitor which runs 120Hz. However, you may notice on closer inspection that the colours seem washed out and sort of whitish. This is because, as opposed to this other monitor which I'm using over here, this is actually a TN panel as opposed to an IPS panel. This might put some people off, but with a few colour corrections and using the Windows' built-in colour correction tool, you can easily make this a great looking gaming monitor. And of course, with this being a TN panel, you don't get the benefits of IPS. You only have to look at it at a certain angle and the colours will just start going all weird. Whereas with an IPS, the colours stay the same and look just as great. To show you 120Hz in action, I've made my mouse cursor bigger. Notice how when I move my mouse cursor, it's nice and smooth on the 120Hz display. You can see that it doesn't lag behind or nothing. Now if I move over to the 60Hz, you can see it stutters along as I'm recording this in slow motion. Here's a better example. This is the UFO test. You can see at 120Hz, the top image is smoother than the 60Hz, as well as the 30Hz. This is an anti-ghost test. You can see that there is no ghosting on the monitor. This is a scrolling test. You can see all the lines are present and accounted for and not smudged together. And here's a scrolling test in a real world game, such as League of Legends. As you can see, it performs really well. If you're on the new Xbox Series X, if you can get hold of it at the moment, you can of course enable the 120Hz option, provided you have a higher speed cable. However, if you're on an older Xbox, then don't worry, as this monitor also supports Radeon FreeSync, which you can turn on in the video modes option, and it's just called variable refresh rate on Xbox. Basically, this allows you to eliminate screen stuttering or tearing using this monitor, which is really cool if you're using higher frame rates on Xbox. If you didn't understand any of that nonsense that I've just said about variable refresh rate and FreeSync, then take a look at this little example here. You can see in Borderlands 3, AMD FreeSync removes the screen tearing in this little section here, and overall provides a much better image. Here's the same clip again, showing before, and then slowly getting rid of the tear in that picture to the after image, which looks much better. Let's look at a real-world example on a original model Xbox One. We're going to be using Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege as our game with a variable refresh rate turned on, and we're just going to compare the difference between the two. So we're going to be using Rainbow Six because it has an FPS counter and we can easily toggle on and off VSync when necessary. So we're going to load into the game here with VSync on, which will mean our frame rate will be capped at 60 FPS. And as you can see, that is correct by the FPS counter in the bottom corner. As you can see, I'm walking around a skyscraper here. Now if I go into my options and turn off VSync, you can see that our frame rate will jump up to the high 60s, peaking into the 70s. This is because variable refresh rate is on and we are refreshing as fast as the Xbox can push frames out. Obviously, if you have a more powerful Xbox like the Xbox One S and the Xbox One S, you might get a few more frames, but I have an original model Xbox and I've seen frame rates around 90 maximum. Now, I'm pretty sure that Ubisoft caps your frame rate to 60 in multiplayer matches, which is why you can't really use this as a competitive advantage. However, if you're playing on your own in a terrorist hunt, then that is completely fine. You can take advantage of these higher frame rates if you really want to. As you can see, it is pretty smooth. You won't be able to determine this on this video. However, if you just keep an eye on the frame rate count at the bottom, you should have a general idea of how good the frame rate is. Just a quick tip for Xbox users, if you are using this for gaming and you want to sort out the colours and make them look better, obviously you can't do advanced colour tuning like you can in Windows. However, setting this toggle to PC RGB under colour space fixes everything about the colour and makes it look so much better. One other thing to note is that this monitor actually has built-in speakers. However, don't expect the best audio quality from them, as you're better off using some headphones or a decent pair of stereo speakers. Here is a test sound tone using the built-in tester. And you can hear that the speakers are actually quite loud. Just a few more things to talk about while I take you around the back of the monitor. It has a blue light mode as well as many different image presets, such as a gaming mode, a movie mode. However, I find the natural one to be the best looking without any color correction. It has dynamic contrast as well as a swivel screen so you can tilt it up and down. It also has an anti-glare screen, AMD FreeSync, which I've already gone over, as well as a 1 millisecond response time as standard with these kind of monitors, and you're also able to use a VESA mounting bracket. Overall, if you can look past the TM panel, color accuracies, and the subpar speakers, you've got a pretty good monitor on your hands. Overall, it's a great little monitor and it's really worth the price. I highly recommend it. The link is in the description to check it out. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.